Alright YouTubes, how are we all doing? Hope you're all well, thanks for tuning in, welcome back to the channel. So this is the second part to the Volkswagen Transporter door repair. So if you haven't seen that video and you want to see the damage and how it was repaired, go and check that video out. So yeah, this is a long wheelbase van, this one, and I've got a bit of a short booth, so it does take up quite a bit of room. I'm right at the right at the front of the booth with the van, and yeah, I've got just enough room to open the doors. So yeah, I'm just doing the preparation in the booth. I don't like doing it, it's not ideal, but if you see my channel and you see my setup, it can be a bit of a hassle just to move it for these little bits of primer. So I've got a bit of dust extraction. I use a hoover in there and air DA, and I do bits of prepping in the booth, but I make sure I clean up. That hasn't been an issue. So I blocked it all off with 320 grit, like normal. Blocked all the primer with 320 grit with Cubitron strips, 3M Cubitron strips, and then go over it with a DA with 500 grit to get all the 320 grit scratches out. And then after that, I do all the hand pad, soft pad in the areas I can't get in with a DA. Do all that with 500 grit. Then I do it all again with 600 grit in the edges and all around the bits the DA won't get. And then I run over the faces of it again with some 600 grit just to refine the scratches. I have found with this paint system I'm on, stuff that's got a fair bit of aluminium content in it, I can see the odd little scratch here and there from 500 grit. Those soft pads are not ideal really. They clog up with dust straight away, so they're not really cutting that well. So yeah, I always just give it a final going over with 600 grit on metallics. But this job will have blender coat all over it anyway, and blender coat will fill in any little micro scratches before I put the base coat on. So that's pretty much it for the preparation. Going to go straight onto the painting of this job. After this, I'm not going to show any of the masking up, and I'm just going to leave it in real time. So it's going to be a bit long. My videos are long anyway, but it's probably going to be a bit longer. But I'm just going to pretty much show it in real time, all the applications, so you get an idea of how long it takes to paint a job of this size. And yeah, that'll be it. And then at the end of this video, I've got a couple of runs in this job, so I'll give you an explanation of, show you the runs, explanation of how I get them out, and show you how I get them out and the results I get from getting them out. And yeah, if you want to stick around for that bit or skip to it, it's entirely up to you. But I'm going to sign out on this bit and leave it running. And thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you again in the next one. Right then YouTubes, that's the van all fitted up, painted and fitted up. And yeah, it's all come out okay. It's come out pretty clean, pleased with it. Doesn't need any de-nibbing as such. So yeah, it's pretty clean. There's a couple of little nibs. Well, that was a tiny little gnat that crawled down. So I need to do a little bit of flat and polishing there. But I've got a couple of runs in this job, just a couple of small ones. So I've got a little, I don't know if it shows up on the camera, got a little dribble off of the recess of the badge there that I need to address, and I've got a little build up on the edge there, little run there that I need to get out. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of footage on removing these runs. So there's various ways you can tackle runs. You could use blades, tungsten blocks, just your normal flat and polishing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can take a bit of bulk off with a tungsten block on these. It's a little bit rubbery there, so if the paint's not rock hard with a tungsten block, you can sort of cut into it a little bit. And then what I use is these, they're carbon blocks. So just put you down a minute. So yeah, I use these carbon blocks. They're really good actually, and they last forever. So you keep them soaked in water the whole time. And there's 3 in here, so you've got 800 grit, and then you've got 1500 grit and 3000. So you can work through the grades, you can manipulate them, sand them and shape them. So if you need it a bit curved, they're just square blocks. They last forever, they never seem to wear out, and they're really good for getting flattening off runs, getting them nice and flat, and they don't score. You don't get any scoring or anything with them. They leave a real nice finish for flat and polishing. So yeah, they're really good for that. So yeah, I'm just going to see if I can shave a bit of the bulk off with a tungsten block, and then I'll block them, start off with 800 and then work through the grades to 3000. You can polish straight away. And the scratches that it leaves polishes really easy. So they're really handy little thing, these blocks. Like I say, they last forever. You just got to keep them in water. So the edge of it will cut into it. Just take a bit of the bulk off, just to take the top of it off. So it gets there in the end, these tungsten blocks. Sometimes if it's a bit bulky, you've just got to do it gently until it starts cutting through. But once it starts cutting through, it'll start gliding over. But the trick is you've got to take it off small amounts at the top at a time. If you try and hack off a big lump of product, you know, a big lump of clear or whatever, you're just going to cut into it and dig into it. And the paint needs to be rock hard really. This is slightly soft still a little bit, so it doesn't help with this cutting through. If it's rock hard, sometimes it pays to put the heat lamp on it or something. If it's rock hard, it will cut through. But now you can see the bulk of that clears off. Feels fairly smooth to the touch. And even though this one wasn't that thick, using the edge of it, I've got the bulk off, so now it's not going to take a lot at all now, just to block them down a little bit. You know, you sort of minimise the risk of breaking through then as well, polishing through. Hopefully, I don't want to say that and then I'll polish through, but you know, they're really handy, these are. And for denibbing, you know, if I've got jobs that are, you know, some big bits of dirt in a job, I'll just run this over the top of it first, get the bulk of it off, and then you only got to give it a little flat afterwards. It may take a little bit more time with this than just going in flatting it, but you get things a little bit flatter as well. So your little nibs, you know, sometimes you can see little dimples in it, even though you flattened it out, you might be able to see little dimples in it. This helps minimise that. So they're fairly expensive, but if you look after it, it'll work the same every time, but just do not drop it because they shatter. So start with the 800 grit. Start with the 800 grit and then just work through the grades. 800, 1500, then 3000, you're ready to polish. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, that's what it looks like when it's been flattened out. Can't feel any run there at all now. And finished off in 3000. Same with that. Pretty much all gone. So yeah, that's ready to polish. It's pretty straightforward with using those blocks and using the tungsten block. I find I get better results than trying to cut it with a blade or just trying to block it with production paper. You minimise the risk of going through edges, you know, because that block, you know, the tungsten block hasn't touched any of this edge. There's still just fresh paint on that edge there, and get good results. It gets you out of a hole, those carbon blocks and that tungsten block, and yeah, it leaves a nice scratch. And I've had a fair few runs in my time, so I've got quite a bit of experience on getting runs out. But yeah, they work really well together, those two things, and it's not using any consumables really, because they're there all the time. They're more like a tool. The carbon blocks never wear out, and the tungsten block never wears out, so you can get runs out, and you're not flatting unnecessarily in other areas on edges and stuff. Whereas with production paper or with a block, you're going to be flatting right up to the edge. As soon as you put a buffer on it, you've got the risk of burning through on the edges. So yeah, they're good. They do work. And all I do now is just give that a little medium cut dual action. I'm not going to bother polishing the rest of it, and that'll be good enough. It's got that one little nib to do there, which I'll just do. I do that nib with this block again. You can do nibs with these carbon blocks as well, you know.
Right. What hardener do you use your erase filler? The blue or the normal red U-pole?
Hang on, mate. 2 secs. Right, so that's it. That's them runs come out simple. I think it's a simple little process, and they've come out well. They look okay. Still, if you really look, there's a bit of a slight build on that edge, but I'll be chasing that all the way around. But I've got the bulk off and flat and polished, lovely. And then I don't know if you can see on this, under that recess, it's completely flat and completely gone and polished up, no problem. So they're really handy, them carbon blocks. And the tungsten blocks as well, they get you out, they can get you out of a hole with good results. And yeah, polishes up, no problem. So I'm going to end this job here, because you probably tell by my hair, it's absolutely bucketing down with rain outside. So I'm not going to get this out and show you outside. This is it finished. We just got to put the badges on. And yeah, repair went okay, all went all alright. And colours blended in nice. And yeah, apart from them couple of runs, which was a shame because it was almost out the gun, this job. Everything went to plan, so it was all good. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate everyone watching. Give it a like and a share if you want to, that is. And subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. And we'll see you again in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Look after yourselves. Cheers.